Very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News with me, Bhakti Abe Surya. To begin with, let's take a look at the stories making headlines this evening. First satellite launched by Sri Lankans. UN applauds Sri Lanka on the peaceful resolution of political issues. Youth Club Federation protests against Namal Rajapaksa's statement. Apex Court orders 6 ministries and 2 authorities to provide easy access for the differently abled. In news from overseas, former Peruvian President Alan Garcia commits suicide. News in detail. First up in local news, Sri Lanka's first satellite, designed by 2 Sri Lankan engineering students, was taken to the International Space Station early this morning. It was launched into space at 2:16 a.m. today, marking Sri Lanka's entry into the global space age. Ravana-1 is a cube-sized miniature satellite and Sri Lanka's first research satellite. It was designed and built at the Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan by Sri Lankan research engineers Tarindu Dayaratna and Dolani Chamika from the Arthur C. Clarke Institute, Moratuwa. Ravana-1 was designed to accomplish 5 missions. Dolani Chamika has studied electronic mechanical engineering technology in Thailand and thereafter joined the Arthur C. Clarke Institute in Moratuwa. Tarindu Dayaratna has followed the electric and electronic engineering degree at the Peradeniya University and then began serving as a research engineer at the Arthur C. Clarke Centre. The satellite was handed over to NASA through the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. It is reported that the research satellite could capture photographs of Sri Lanka and its surrounding countries while orbiting the Earth 5 times. The Northrop Grumman Antares rocket and its unmanned Cygnus spacecraft launched into the space from the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at NASA's Wallops Flight Facility on Virginia's East Shore, kicking off a 2-day voyage to the space station. The satellite is expected to fulfill 5 missions, including the capturing of pictures of Sri Lanka and its surrounding regions. The Ravana-1, measuring 11.3 centimeters into 10 centimeters into 10 centimeters and weighing around 1.05 kilograms, is expected to orbit 400 kilometers away from Earth. It will have a minimum lifespan of 1.5 years. Its camera mission is to take pictures of Sri Lanka and its neighboring countries. Its LoRa demonstration mission is to validate the module to be used to data download next satellites. The altitude determination and control mission of Ravana-1 involves the team trying to reduce the angular velocity of the satellite using magnetic torques. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has reaffirmed the commitment of the United Nations to continue to support the people of Sri Lanka, including in the reconciliation and sustainable development agenda. The United Nations Secretary-General made this reference when he met Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravira, who is participating in the Financing for Development Forum of the UN Economic and Social Council. The Secretary-General recalled his visits to Sri Lanka in the past, including his visit in 1978. The UN chief also said that he was impressed by the peaceful resolution of the recent political crisis in Sri Lanka. Young leaders of the Sri Lanka Youth Club Federation have vehemently expressed their objections to a statement made by parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa through the social media about with respect to the Yowan Puraya. Yowan Puraya can be described as the largest national program that had so far been launched on behalf of the youth. The 4th Yowan Puraya was held at Veeravilla in Hambantota after the assumption of office of the incumbent government. This year's Yowan Puraya ended on a very successful note with the participation of 8,000 locals as well as foreign youth. The government received accolades from many for holding the Yowan Puraya with the participation of young men and women from all over the country representing all communities. Recently, parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa had made a statement on the Yonpuraya through the social media. Young leaders who were involved in the program expressed their protest with respect to the statement made by the parliamentarian. Radhika Jayalat, Vice President of Sri Lanka Youth Club Federation, said that earlier 3 Yonpuraya programs were held, but such a problem did not arise in these 3 programs. This is the first time that such an issue has surfaced. They commenced cleaning the garbage from the grounds from the first. The group that was engaged in this work had to go to their hometowns to celebrate the new year. They were granted weeks' leave. They have returned and resumed the cleaning operations. It was during this period that they had gone to the premises and released some photographs to the social media. This action can be interpreted as an objective of achieving narrow political gains. He called on the intelligent crowd to vehemently condemn this act. He added that they are always willing to apprise Namal Rajapaksa of the Yonpuraya. The Supreme Court today has called on 6 ministries and 2 authorities to provide facilities to those with special needs to facilitate easy access to these government institutions. The order was issued today by a Supreme Court judge bench regarding a fundamental rights petition filed by Dr. Ajit Pereira. While delivering the verdict, the Supreme Court ruled that these government institutions had violated the rights of differently abled persons by not providing facilities which could provide easy access to the buildings. Accordingly, orders were issued on the following ministries and authorities to provide facilities which would assist the differently able to visit these institutions. 2 more persons who were taken into custody along with Makandure Madush have been deported from Dubai. They arrived in the island early this morning. The Criminal Investigations Department unit at the airport are interrogating them. The 2 who were deported were Piyal Pushpakumara and Mohammad Afrid Mohammad. In the meantime, the 6 who were deported yesterday while staying with Makandure Madush have been interrogated, and thereafter Buddhima Pereira has been taken into custody by the Colombo Crimes Division. Nilan Romesh Samarasinghe, after being arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department, was produced in the Negombo Magistrates Court today. The police said that he is a relative of Makandure Madush. Meanwhile, it is reported that a Dubai court has postponed delivering the decision on the appeal filed by Makandure Madush against his deportation to Sri Lanka. Accordingly, the decision regarding the appeal is to be issued on the 2nd of next month. The funeral of 10 persons who were killed in a fatal accident that happened in the Mahiyangane area in the early hours of yesterday took place today amidst the presence of a large gathering. The bodies were taken away to the homes after the conduct of autopsies at the Mahiyangane Base Hospital. 10 persons, including the mother, father and children and several families, died in this accident. Our Batticaloa correspondents reported that large crowds descended upon the house to pay their last respects. The final rites were performed at the Batticaloa Catholic Church burial grounds. In the meantime, the National Transport Commission said that the passenger service permit of the bus has been revoked for a period of 1 month on charges of not taking action to prevent the occurrence of an accident. The driving license issued by the Commission has also been suspended. Aircraft that landed at the Mattala International Airport last evening again flew to the Katunayake International Airport last night. 4 aircrafts that were bound to reach the Katunayake International Airport were diverted to the Mattala International Airport last evening due to adverse weather conditions. Amongst them was a Sri Lankan aircraft that arrived from Malaysia. An aircraft that arrived from Singapore and Jakarta as well as from Doha were diverted in this manner to Mattala. These aircrafts were flown to the Katunayake Airport again in the night with the improvement of the weather conditions. The government has decided to carry out construction on roads prone to landslides with the aim of preventing earth slips. Several roads that are prone to landslides have been identified. One of them is the 10th kilometre post along the Ambepussa Kurunagala Trincomalee Road. The 27th kilometre post on the Vellavaya Alla Kumbalvela Road is also identified as an area prone to landslides. Landslides are reported to frequently occur in areas affiliated to the 27th 32nd, 6th and 33rd kilometer post areas along the Beragala-Haliala road. The Japanese government is due to spend 2,000 million yen to undertake these constructions to prevent earth slips affiliated to these roads. The government has decided to use the balance left after implementing the landslide disaster preventing project of the National Road Network with a sum of 7,619 Japanese yen for this purpose. The government's desire is to increase the local job opportunities in the tourism industry to 600,000. The government also intends to increase the daily expenditure of tourists to $210. The annual income earning from the tourism industry at present is in the region of $3.5 billion. The government hopes to increase this amount to $7 billion by next year. The Sri Lanka Tourist Strategic Plan 2017-2020 has been launched with the intention of achieving these aims. It is intended to enhance the overall tourism experiences of those touring Sri Lanka under their program. Another objective is to improve the growth of the tourism industry and global security image. In this respect, it is planned to introduce the Joint Tourism Digital Initiative as a national-level technical strategy. It consists of 3 objectives. Combined tourism and circuit analysis is one of them. The second is to integrate information of integrated global airlines into integration of information and tourists and examine the safety of tourists. Consolidation of tourism travel insurance is another option. Accordingly, the government has decided to implement the proposed Consolidated Tourism Digital Initiative under the state and private partnership basis. Non-Cabinet Minister Ajit P. Pereira has said that action has been taken to introduce an app to inform instantly institutions that are helping a person who has faced an accident or a disaster. He was addressing a media conference held today. The minister said that it has been found how important the time is to intimate information or the response received on a disaster, a tragedy of an abuse to the police, the Disaster Management Centre and the ambulance service. He said that the Ministry of Digital Infrastructure and Information Technology, in collaboration with ICT, an emergency app will be introduced with the required facilities to inform emergency situations and receive responses. He said that after introducing the app, they expect to click the related mobile phone and inform the police, the ambulance service and the related important institutions and make correct intimation, the nature of the disaster, the location of the person with the Google map. In the meantime, expressing views on the forthcoming presidential elections, Minister Ajit P. Pereira queried as to what Pohottuwa was saying with respect to the selection of their candidate. It is the Rajapaksa family that is selecting the candidate in countries such as Brunei, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. He said that Sri Lanka was the first country in Asia to introduce universal franchise in Asia and also one of the countries in the entire world. If a family is selecting the candidate and calling on the people to vote in a country which has vast experience in democracy, it is not a feature that should prevail in a democratic country. That's it from the local news desk, and up next is business news followed by the markets update and currency exchange rates. Sri Lanka's exports have got off to a positive start in 2019, recording healthy growth and topping the $1 billion mark, whilst regulatory measures checked imports, leading to a lower trade deficit in January. The central bank yesterday said the deficit in the trade account contracted significantly in January 2019 compared to January 2018 as a result of increased export earnings and a significant reduction in imports, mainly reflecting the impact of policy measures implemented to discourage vehicle and non-essential consumer goods imports. In January 2019, earnings from merchandise exports surpassed $1 billion for the second consecutive month.
The benchmark all share price index gained 3 points to close at 5,606.35, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index lost 5.39 points to close at 2,710.27. The turnover was 200.25 million rupees, with 6.72 million shares changed in hands in 2,420 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,632.38 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were Blue Diamonds, Anilana Hotels, Ceylon Printers, Citrus Leisure and Renuka Holdings, while the top 5 losers were Amanata Kaful, Bimput Finance, Madhavi Resorts, LLC Holdings and Sierra Cables. Today's foreign purchases were 118.01 million rupees and foreign sales were 115.22 million rupees. There was one crossing today and the crossing turnover was 24.6 million rupees.
With that, we wrap up our today's edition of Prime TV News. For details of these stories and for more, you can log on to our website www.itnnews.lk. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now and have a pleasant evening.